Mike Gill and Qrash.
Hi, Mike. How are
Hey,
you?
Qrash. See, she asked me if I'm ready, and we both laugh. And how am I? And we both laugh. So I guess that explains everything you need to know.
Hey, if we don't laugh, we're gonna cry. I mean, come on.
Well, I got to tell you, as confusing as it is for people out there with Trump, with Epstein, with releasing the files, all of this makes perfect sense to me. Nothing's out of line. It's a perfect fit. It's exactly what I've been saying and what we've been steering to. Here you go. Ready? The Pandora's box has the same names as the Epstein files. And we'll go over that. All right? It's
Yeah.
the same names. And I'm going to show you the proof and the evidence and the steps on what we did take. I mean, evidence. So, what are we seeing? I've been telling you that the Department of Justice is the head of the deep state. That is who runs this country. The FBI is an instrument of their extortion. The Department of Justice uses our intelligence agencies and foreign agencies, such as the Mossad, to spy and blackmail on its people. And those people reside in the Congress and the Senate, politicians around this country. It's about control. Blackmail the most powerful, wealthiest people in this country. That exists. And it only exists with the protection of the Department of Justice. They work through them. Now let's keep things simple. Who could put these politicians in jail? Oh, the Department of Justice. The FBI in jail? Yeah, Department of Justice. Oh, so who do you think they blackmail them with? So the Department of Justice has runs a protection agency. So you can't arrest who's on the Epstein files because they paid protection at the Department of Justice.
They'd be arresting themselves.
You would find themselves, which is an interesting theory of how they operate. Always be looking for you. That's how it works. That's why no one goes to jail because who they protect is the Department of Justice. Bill Shaheen represents the cartel. He represents, Senator Gene Shaheen. Oh, he was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. And he's Maxwell's lawyer. And he's on a $50 million settlement I'm going to introduce you to again. Well, wait a minute. How does Mike Gill shit always connect? Happening. They're coming to us. All what I've said, they're coming to us. You're not figuring out now the Department of Justice. Now, the thing with the Epstein files, is Trump in the Epstein files? Well, is he showing you the Epstein files? Either is the Department of Justice. Either wants to go to jail. All those, why are they voting, not voting? Because it is what we're saying it is. It blackmails and gets them all. So what I have to say, Trump is guilty. What he's buddies with Epstein? I mean, he's had some questionable dates,
Well,
right?
let me ask you something about that real quick. People keep saying, "Well, Trump's using that for leverage. He's not in the files. He's using it for leverage." What is he using for leverage? If you know, I mean, that doesn't make sense because there's nothing for him to use it. Like if he's not in it, they can't leverage each other.
Right.
So if Trump,
They
Trump,
call that insane. But you buy that bullshit because that's why these spin jobs, I'm seeing these podcasters, it's 5D chess with one again. Again, Nino.
right? Yeah.
Listen, these guys aren't as smart as you think they are. They're not. Or I wouldn't be fucking here now, wouldn't I? I wouldn't be ahead of them and I wouldn't have evidence setting them up now, would I? And listen, it wasn't that I was a boxer, it wasn't that I was a stripper, not in this life, but I was wealthy. Was only the best handicapper in the world, like chess. Became the world champion of racing. Mortgages, numbers. I was who you see then, but the moral obligation after I saw them. And what made me a wealthy man was that insight into the future is how I caught them. I just happened to have the worst luck to be exactly the right person for this job. But I'm telling you, I set them up and it taken me 19 years to do it. This wasn't a day at the beach. Look at some of those numbers, 17, 18 bringing in there. But those exist and they set them up. Those were the steps that I was building to get here. Now the DOJ is exposed to you. Trump is exposed to you. This is not the Democrats and the Republicans. This is not white and black. This is us and them. Your government's corrupt. You're broke. 37 trillion in debt, and we just had a bunch of criminals vote on this bill, knowing that they're criminals, all of them. So, how to get them? How to win the game? Listen, I'm staying in hell. They just reeled somebody out the other day. I was on the elevator. And I
Another
remember
overdose.
thinking,
Was it another overdose?
no,
Oh,
but I can tell you I know the difference now. They don't rush with the dead ones.
oh,
They rush with the overdoses. And that hit me coming down the elevator yesterday. So this is reality. I am living in reality from that wealthy man. Nobody takes the decision I made unless it's the truth. And what has stood up for 19 years in the truth, but how to get them. All right. So let's take you on a story. Now we just left you from the Arizona brokered convention. Right. They leave me out for a few days and I fuck up the whole plan of having Sununu and Haley become the goddamn president. Excuse me. I have a special place
yep.
for that. You've heard me speak to Stacy Burke, who would have been working with Flynn, going back to this December 18th you're about to see, and we're going to take it from there. But that is the insurrection plot of the DOJ. That brokered convention is the DOJ, and the instrument still is Flynn. Flynn goes untouched, and his buddies become running the Department of Justice because it's a criminal cover-up, and those are the bastards that you use. All right? Those are the guys you use. And that's what you're seeing. And that's what's falling apart. Because maybe there's a shred of decency. I don't know. Maybe in a Department of Justice, some honest people will say, hey, listen, if we're going to have a shot to get these bastards out, it might be here and now. I'm telling you, they're the leaks. I know. Because you know what I did for all those years? I talked to the leaks. I built cases with those leaks, which is why I protected those witnesses the way that I did. Okay, Qrash, let's hit it. Number one, let's take you from, we'll call this the fulcrum. The fulcrum is we go either way here. But at the point of the front to the back, let's start with this. All right? This is Flynn, again, on December 18th, Carissa Ketchel, but they're contacting me for my help from, again, the Oval Office in front of Trump. Okay, next one, Qrash. And you're going to see that he wanted an affidavit, but you want to see there that he asked me for the settlement. What settlement? The $50 million settlement with the same Bill Shaheen, Macwell lawyer that was on, representing the money laundering network of the deep state, the Obamas, the Bidens, the Romneys. It's not just Democrats. It's all of them. Okay, hit it now. Now, on this settlement, it has the IRS, has the banking department, the banking commissioner, Department of Revenue. You ready, boys and girls? All that's audits. Control what audits, and that is the laundering network of the deep state. That is why it's New Hampshire Banking Department that doesn't have to audit you. That was put in there, Jerry Little, by Sununu for the cover for the cartels. And that's where $935 billion transferred from the Pandora Papers, from foreign governments and drug cartels, passed through the Senate and the Congress. Pappas is a Sinaloa cartel member in Congress. Hassan and Shaheen work for the cartel, and they're in the Senate. You understand? And she's also been charged for targeting with the IRS. The IRS is part of this. All that audits, including the IRS. All right, hit it, Qrash. Now, this is the settlement. Well, with the settlement, they also had a condition of releases, and these list of names that I had to give a release to. Now, of those names, that the IRS and the Department of Revenue is from that agreement that I just showed you. Okay, hit it. But again, control what audits, and you control the laundering. Of course, the IRS and the Treasury has to be on it. It's part of the stealing. Now, part of the list of names is Bill Shaheen. Remember the importance of Bill Shaheen. We need to get into the Senate. Shaheen is the DOJ. He was a U.S. attorney. Now we're getting into the DOJ. Now, you see this settlement and all these things. You know who's got it? The DOJ. U.S. Attorney Lelland, Attorney General Barr. They own it in writing, which is why that's so important. Our game is not to turn around. You've got to, for you to win this game, you don't take out what's corrupt. You take out what protects them. That's the Department of Justice. Anything else you lose. This settlement agreement goes to the Department of Justice. U.S. Attorney Bill Shaheen, part of the Department of Justice, that's the instrument of selling protection to cartels, but the architect of the laundering network of the deep state. That part of that $935 billion is payoffs to the Senate and the Congress that comes through the Sentinel of New Hampshire. That's why it also connects to the Ukraine. I had 19 connections from the Ukraine and New Hampshire for money laundering. In fact, one of my videos in 2019 was, I'm up to my ass in Ukrainians. That's before you even knew there was a Ukraine or even a Durham.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, they're out of
No,
order
that's okay.
here. I think you have that next. That's your buddy Shaheen.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think you're right. Now, Bill Shaheen, Department of Justice, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, right? Who do you think he opened the door for? The Clinton Foundation? Right. You want to know who they're laundering for? There you go. And Sununu now? Well, he took control with a little help from his friends. We'll hit them in a second. All right, hit it, Qrash. But you see, it's all that connected. It's the power plays. This is, again, with Biden. If you remember right, Biden was picking Shaheen as one of his candidates for VP, and she refused to be vetted. Why? Because they were afraid it goes back. Bill Shaheen is the DOJ instrument. He's a bridge.
Is that Gene Shaheen there?
Yes, on the left.
Yeah.
So he is a bridge to the DOJ. He is a bridge to the cartels. He's a bridge to the Senate. He works with the Sinaloa cartel and their congressmen. Okay, hit it. So in other words, paths, bridges. What do you got when you got there? All right? And I'm saying to this Epstein files and so forth, you have to assume if Trump's not letting these files out and the Department of Justice is protecting them, they're blackmailing each other, but you're not seeing it. No one ever not tells you the truth. And you've got to be concerned what's going on because we're heading to an iceberg. This 37 trillion in debt and another 3.4 trillion to be added. We are not heading in a good direction. And they're not telling you this.
And the 3.4 trillion you're referring to the big beautiful bill, correct?
I am.
Yeah. I mean,
and they rushed it. And think about that. Those people voting on that bill are criminals. Why haven't we audited them? Even
Right.
Musk, with all his bullshit, right? Audit the Senate and the Congress. Hey, we got 100 senators. Investigate, audit. Let's. We turn around and try to save a company or like a country. You break it down to the studs. You turn around and say, okay, what's solid? What can I trust? Where are we vulnerable? All right, the Senate, 100 people, take care of it. Done. We trust everybody, or can we trust anybody?
And not
That's
many.
how you start. So
Yeah.
if they're not telling you common sense and they're not keeping it simple and it's all confusing, it's not. The DOJ is not arresting themselves. They pay protection to all these entities that are killing us, including healthcare and food pharmaceutical. Between those lobbyists going back, and then they can pay these congressmen whatever they want. Who's gonna investigate them? The DOJ? They're being paid by the same pharmaceutical company.
Right.
And that's where we are. Okay, hit it. Oh, now this was me in what? November, July of 20.
2020.
July 2020. Okay. Before the election that I told you Trump was going to lose. But I was telling you about Epstein and Maxwell. I was telling you about money laundering. I was telling you that it was Mossad and how that they would use the money laundering. Here you go. You ready? This is important. Nothing is more blackmailable than your money. You find their assets, their LLCs. You're the one laundering for them. The blackmail is that you've got millions and billions that the people don't know about. And you can't explain how you got the money. So, by controlling the money laundering network, which is why Maxwell moves to New Hampshire, and her lawyer is our man Bill, who's on my 50 million settlement, who's with the Department of Justice.
could you
I
could you
mean,
connect those dots any better?
I mean, I can't live to 90 people. We keep lining these ducks up and they keep going in a row.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that 5 fucking years ago. Who they were, what they did, the fire he got killed. Oh, he didn't get killed now. Oh, really? Here you go. You ready, rock stars? Billionaires don't kill themselves. Get that shit out of your head, especially with a ton of blackmail. You know who? It's the ones that won't cut a deal. That's what happened. But they want that to go away. It leads to who you think. All right, hit it. And remember now, Maxwell living in New Hampshire. Now, before we get to Maxwell up my ass in New Hampshire, they park right there. You know who else who goes to New Hampshire? James O'Keefe. Hey, and if we can call Epstein the Mossad, why can't we call that asshole the Mossad? I turn around, he infiltrated state of corruption into the money laundering network that I discovered, gave me the cartel to leverage the cartel into making a deal with Sununu. They knew I'd put their faces on the signs rather than killing your children. But they used me as blackmail to leverage. So, in other words, that's O'Keefe, that's Project Veritas. What did he do? Take secret videos? What do you see shit of? Really? You think the good stuff he shows you? Remember the guy with all the pedophiles he gave to him, buried him. The other asshole about Pfizer, they buried that. Well, they only worked with me for almost a year and gave me the cartel, the Sinaloa Anagos cartel. You didn't tell those people, though, did you? See, it's blackmail. Everything's blackmail, and it all works. It's like Arizona. Everybody's recording each other because they're all corrupt. Everybody in Washington can be blackmailed because they're all corrupt, including the president. He's not telling you, is he?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we what are we supposed to think, when we hear what he's saying?
It was never just, they never give us an honest choice. Trump was just the choice we had left. Would we have the DOJ with Biden? When everybody's going, who's running the country with Biden? It's the same assholes, guys. It's the DOJ. They're running Biden. They couldn't manage Biden. 40 years of corruption. They couldn't manage him. Of course. It's how it works. Okay, hit it, Qrash. Now that's Lullen. Andrew Lullen. And do you know at the time of this picture? He was under consideration to run for governor of Massachusetts. That's right. And then all of a sudden, on a rainy day, he takes my evidence, sealed envelopes, 22 of them, from the IRS, intercepted by an accountant I never met, who's related, a brother of the Titka agent, Tom Morley, Curtis Morley, the accountant, that's running the investigation against money laundering with the IRS using the 50 million settlement and a truckload of evidence, only to find out it was a cover-up, a Titka cover-up. And guess what? When they delivered the envelopes in a FedEx envelope, I get a phone call on the minute. Alongside of me is Aaron Day and Eileen Landy. I get a phone call from Patrick Dillon of the IRS threatening me. I go, what the fuck? This guy, I've known this guy 3 years. I just got the envelope. I get Patrick Dillon call me. So I rip him a new one and call Tom Morley. Go, Tom, you won't believe this. Do you know what, Curtis Morley? I can never talk to you again.
Tom's,
Tom Morley said that.
yeah. So.
Then he gives me the number to the Treasury Inspector General of the United States, Camus. And guess what? It's a race to dialing the number, except for he didn't hang up and had the number. Bang, he hits it. He's on the phone with Camus. I have Aaron Day recording it. Project Veritas. Aaron Day has the recording of the Inspector General of the Treasury, Titka, saying we have plants in my company, spies and moles covering up. Now, if you had those envelopes, hit it. We have those envelopes.
Well, hang on. I messed up here.
It's okay. It's all right. The Department of Justice owns it. Those envelopes, by request, was sent to Andrew Lullen. Go back again to the pictures of the envelopes. Qrash. We'll go back to this one.
Okay.
That's definitely me. So the pictures of the envelopes were sealed, 22 of them, meaning you're not an accountant because you're not opening it, which is also mail fraud, right? So it was the brother of the Titka agent. So all those envelopes proved that it was a cover-up of the IRS using the Treasury Inspector General's office right up to the Treasury. All right, hit it again. Those envelopes, those sealed envelopes, is that proof. That recording that's also on the internet, IRS on tape, proves the Treasury Inspector General. It'll be just in writing. But if you can listen to it yourself, turn around and said they had a plant in my office. You know what the plants were? It was my controller of the company. Anything to do with the IRS or Titka, she was handling. It was her own Titka agent. No, keep going, Qrash. But that is another picture. Now, that picture is important because that's in front of the office of Lullen. That is what I gave to that U.S. attorney, Andrew Lullen, who was going to run for governor, who is the most powerful U.S. attorney in this country. I just want to make it sink in because.
What do you want me to put up?
All right. So
what do you want me to, you're going out of order.
No, okay. Hit me with the DOJ list.
Okay.
All right. And you can blow that up as much as you can. All right. And I'm going to try to read it from my pad the best I can.
What they gave, what you gave them, or what do you want me to blow up?
This is what, right. No, that sheet there. Right. I'm having a hard time seeing that. So I can see it better from here. All right. So if you look at one, unknown, it is the video of me going in, giving them those letters. Lullen took it from me right there. I'm good. I can read it from here. By hand. He owns it. The DOJ owns it. And later you'll see that he gives it to the Attorney General of the United States. Those are the two highest law offices in this country owning all that's on here. And here's the spin. You ready? The Department of Justice doesn't take your evidence. The FBI does. And remember all those FBI closing the doors, closing the doors, closing the doors. The Department of Justice opened the door. Why? What did they take? What did they ask for? Those letters. And then the recording. And the recording was the black background, white lettering. But let's stay on this for a minute. So if you can see what they own, but they own those letters. Now that's the TICA, the cover up for the IRS. That opens the door to the money laundering. That opens to Senator Shaheen, the Senate. That's money. That's proof. They had spies and moles. This is the Treasury.
Now you
Not
never
doing,
opened. No one ever opened those envelopes, right?
no. And Lullen has them in his sticky ass hands, which incriminates the DOJ. So with all this bullshit running around telling you about mermaids and shit, right? I just incriminated the United States attorney who handed a bomb to the Attorney General of the United States with the evidence that is the Pandora Papers that opens the door to the Epstein files and Maxwell and the same Shaheen. I mean, I just gift wrapped the son of a bitch.
And everybody's protecting that.
Well, that's because they're the ones that are guilty. Now, remember, do you know who told Flynn on December 18th, intercept me? These assholes.
Right.
Do you know who knew I was? They did. You know who knew how dangerous I was? I don't know. The people offering me 50 million. And how much do you think these guys were? They got involved. Why? Because they were fucking it up. I was getting ahead of them. And they knew if I got ahead, I'd find them. And you know what I did? I did. I found them before they found me, and I incriminated the mothers. That's what you're seeing here. That we might just read in history books. Now, let's look at the next one. Letter federal courthouse. Allegations of extortion, organized crime, murder for hire, attempted murder, judicial corruption. Oh, you don't think we have a trouble with courts? Who do you think runs the courts? The DOJ. The DOJ is a bunch of corrupt lawyers, and so are the courts, working for the same fucking law firms. Who, customers, are the cartels and the pharmaceuticals, the insurance, the healthcare, the big banks. Are you getting it? All right, let's look next. Oh, USA referring to multiple evidence, New Hampshire. Just a hitman. You get to hear the audio. He turned down the contract. I was running for governor. Lucky for me, huh? Right after I got out of jail where they tried to murder me, then he references. And him and his partner are the ones that got busted for going after the reporters saying in the Pandora Papers saying about how the cartels own the treatment centers. Again, connected. All right, hit the back page if you would.
Hang on, it's not. There we go.
Good. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah. So up to begin to understand this. This is documented evidence. This is them writing down this evidence. You've got the Department of Justice accepting this responsibility and guilt. They can't explain this shit. They can't explain the 22 envelopes. They can't, which is why they wanted to pay me off, which is why you'll see some other things too, which is why they the ones that had Flynn intercepted. He said, this guy's guilt evidence leads right to the Senate and Congress. If Trump wants to save his ass, he could use this way. The problem is Trump's going to save his ass if you're going to put him in jail. But if you're not, he just as soon stay out of jail. All right. So now what do we have here? Fixed New Hampshire banking. Information given to the FBI. There's the money laundering network. Letters addressed to the IRS. Corruption evidence. TICA, Agent Morley, New Hampshire Banking Department. Morley, here we go. There's the envelopes. Here's the other evidence that comes with those evidence. It's the way in. And listen, you don't need to drive a truck in. A pencil will be good. This puts into everything. Look, banking department. Banking department gets you money laundering. Package addressed to Lullen, okay? U.S. Attorney, FBI, Supreme Court's appeal, Wiggins and Norrie, Mike Gill, Anagos, Cruz, and Griner. It is the cartel. It's what owns Planet Fitness. All right. It is Sinaloa cartel across this country. It's the biggest drug dealer, and it gets them all. All you got to do is see these guys' arrest records. They sealed them all, except for I got them from arresting state troopers, 6 separately. All the evidence. Ready?
There's
Evidence with the FBI and Attorney General's office in Washington. Wait a minute. They took all this and gave it to the AG and the Washington office of the FBI. Now you do think they do that on bullshit? The number one guy in the country sending it to his boss? What do you think? Original evidence, drug matters involving Liberty Mutual. Address the 50 murder attempts. There was 2 of these attempts on videos, and these assholes have them. That's what get taken down off the internet. There's the $50 million settlement. It ties the settlement into the Department of Justice. So when Flynn asked on December 18th for the settlement, the Department of Justice knew exactly what it was, who it was, and who was on it, and its potential, which is why I had to be intercepted on that very day. All right, murder. Yeah, they only threatened to murder my son twice. Alex Walker. Okay. Okay, so this means they own it. Okay? And that's what we want. You have to incriminate the protection network, or not everything else gets replaced. The DOJ is an institution. It doesn't go away. Presidents do. Congressmen, senators, at times, they do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they?
They remain the same. You work for them. We've been institutionalized. And that's how, and again, it was a bunch of lawyers. Okay. Hit that again. Oh, I think
Which
do I have the Sorelli?
I'm not sure what the Sorelli one is.
It's a screenshot of a text. Oh, okay. Well, we found the recording of the Inspector General. I'm going to tell him, Chris. See, Chris was the guy's partner. That we have a plan, an undercover working for you. It was my own controller. Isa Crane was her name. Brian Toome and Kerry Lemieux. But the one I wanted was a screenshot of the Titka agent, Marco Sorelli. Let me set this up. Right after I met Howley, right? I got contacted by Titka after Titka sends over 3 settlements, right? Listen, people, the way in is the way out, usually. The way out for them is Titka, which is why Titka's getting a hold of me.
Howley, I'm sorry to back up a minute. Howley was sent to you after O'Keefe.
Yes. O'Keefe, from Lowen, I was sent to Epoch Times and met Patrick Howley, not even knowing the connection of Flynn. Didn't even really understand Flynn.
And
O'Keefe was up my ass for a year with Aaron Day.
Right. And I'm sorry, but Lelling handed off your evidence to Barr because he didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bill Barr.
Bill Barr. As Bill Barr was working with Durham, who was taking the same evidence when Lowland was from Connecticut.
All of them covered it up. All of them
knew. But again, they're not arresting themselves. You know what they were doing? They started by saying, pay Gil off. 50 million. The guy's a rich guy. He's telling us to go fuck ourselves every time. We'll offer him 50. All right. Then offer to tell him that we're going to take your hundreds of millions. He told us to go fuck ourselves. All right. Then kill him.
Right.
3 attempts that I know. Any of you had a fight for your life? On camera. That's one of the ones they're not showing. Oh, I lost where I was going.
You were talking about this Titka scream, the United Treasury.
Right. So what then with Titka is with Marco Sorelli after Howley, right? And you know what? I want to videotape this, copy this, and all. Then Howley turned around with Roger Stone. Then Roger Stone with the two. It was infiltration. But after that is what those text messages was. And what it was Marco Sorelli was an agent for Titka that reached out and asked. I was on the phone for over an hour. He kept asking me, does Trump have your evidence? Does Trump know? So they were afraid. Then I was getting it to Trump. So that's why you've got that text message. And if you see what I said to him, Trump knows. I told him that Trump knows because I gave it to Lewandowski, but still had my suspicions, even about Trump. But at that point, Sorelli's saying, and again, I had these 3 settlement offers. They were trying to probe me to find out how much Trump knows. So they wanted me to take a deal. So did the Department of Justice. So when I didn't take a deal, and that's Sorelli reaching out, then I tried to then they had to intercept me to getting it to Trump. That was Flynn. That was the settlement. So we circled all the way back. All of that is together. What you have to understand is this is the solidifies what we have, but the movement all around it is coming back into this. Maxwell's in play again. Epstein's in play again. Trump is in play again. The Pandora'S box is in play. The exposure of the Department of Justice for the first time, not only exposed, but you should be seeing this. You saw it in the courts. You saw it in the things that are happening that are unexplainable, even with Trump. It always makes sense. It's because it is the DOJ and it is my efforts. And you cannot win a war if you don't know the enemy. Do you know who the enemy in Ukraine is, really? Do you know the enemy in Iran and Israel? Do we really know the enemy? I mean, as far as I'm seeing, the enemy is us.
I was going to say, within, the enemy within.
These tariffs is bullshit. You understand the tariffs are a tax on you, period. And then Trump's forcing to drop the interest rates. Listen, I only did it for 30, 35 years, and I was the best at it. The Federal Reserve can't cut rates because they're petrified of what's around the corner. And right around the corner, not just of these tariffs, but employment. You see what's happening to housing? You'll understand the impact, and housing goes to refrigerators, stoves, I mean, commercial furniture. It's a rolling ball, and it's going off a cliff. And that is a big wealth of this country, is your being owner of real estate. Now that's losing its value. So even Trump, almost like he doesn't expect to be here long. And I'm not saying he's expecting anything. I am telling you, shit's going to hit the fan. And I think that's why he pushed this bill. Because he's not telling you we're going broke.
Right. The question was, go ahead, finish what you were saying.
What's Bondi, Patel, and Bongino going to tell us now? Did you see this thing on Charlie Kirk now saying, I'm not going to ask anymore?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm talking about it.
I mean, if the left said that, you'd laugh at them. Oh, why is this different?
That's what I'm saying. Everything that's happening, if it was Biden, we would be all over that. We're not.
We're not. And it's the Republicans and the Democrats. Corruption doesn't know a party. There's no white hats and black hats. They're not coming to save you. What I'm seeing on these podcasters and these influencers is gross. The spin jobs, the thing that he's playing 5D chess and he's doing this. It's like, shut up.
They're trying to spin it, like you said, into a narrative. And that's what we've had the last 5 years. And that's why everybody's confused. And unfortunately, I don't see, as long as there's paid influencers, I don't see how it's going to change.
Well, you know what? This changes things. This is the truth. We're not paid influencers.
No, we are.
No, but my point being is, right, I ain't selling you shit. I'm telling you the things you don't like. I didn't drink the Trump Kool-Aid. I was working for those guys in 15 and 16. Hey, you remember door 1, 2, or 3, everybody? When you all lost your shit when I came into the podcast world, I said, he opens Pandora's box, which is also the Epstein files. One's the money one, but it's the same names. Number 2 is he takes the deal. Number 3, if you try to open the box, you would try to assassinate him. Well, how's that, boys and girls?
Are we not seeing all that right now?
Right.
Like,
See, here's the idea. You listen to all these pencil heads, and they tell you what's going to happen, and they change their minds or twist it the next day. I told you exactly what was going to happen. Here's the thing, right? Do it 2 years before. Do it before it happens. Don't twist the truth after it happens. You know what these assholes do? Like Jaco does this. They wait for a hurricane. They wait for an earthquake, and then we're attacked. But listen, I'm not saying it's not possible, but those assholes know that too. They'll throw you a fish, and you'll run with it. You turn around and go, hey, listen, they don't know shit. There's 2,000 earthquakes a year. All right. So in other words, I'm not saying that, but you can't listen to them. They can't be turning around and telling you what this is. I mean, Juan was on Nino again from the airport playing 5D chess, just using the same bullshit with Trump. Trump plays 5D chess. I'd like to play him because this was played out like a dummy.
Dummy, yeah.
Elon Musk. I asked Qrash your question, and I'll answer for myself. Is Musk smarter than Trump? Hello. You remember when Musk turned around and said Trump's in the Epstein files? You think you were supposed to forget that? You think Musk just loosely said that?
He said it for a reason, you know? I mean,
now he can be sued. You know what the problem with being rich is? They can take millions from you.
Yeah.
In Musk's case, they can take billions. And don't let it kid you, even billionaires like to keep their billions. He was leverageable by only the president of the United States, who could have sued him and didn't. What does that tell you? One, that he said it, knew it was going to happen. That's what makes you smart. Pull up before you run into the wall. That's what he did. What they call that is seeding. He planted a seed and stepped back. Now, all of a sudden, with Patel, all of a sudden, the Epstein file, remember? Who planted the seed? Oh, there's Musk.
Musk, yeah.
Who's J.D. Vance? I don't know, Musk maybe? But anyhow, we've got a seed planted. And now that is a troubled seed. And who was the one that planted? I'm not saying other people didn't say it, but not with 220 million Twitter followers.
Yeah.
You see?
How
they know.
With the Maxwell, what you posted about Maxwell, or not about her, but like your opinion was, you know, she's in play, and
yes,
can she take Trump? Not
it's
her,
a perfect move. I'm glad you brought that up. Now we're playing strategy, and that's what I do here. So when you don't understand somebody, and I get it, but I'm playing against them, and I got to get ahead of them, and not necessarily behind where you are. All right. So, in speaking of strategy, if I were them, I'd set Trump up. They turn around and do the Patel thing, and they do the Bongino thing. Then they got him covering from Bondi in that press conference where he said, "Are we still talking about Epstein?" I can't tell you how bad that was. Which, when you're saying 5D trust,
yeah,
that's a bad fucking move on 1A. All right. So now strategy goes, well, wait a minute. When did Maxwell come up for an appeal at the Supreme Court? Right now? What a coincidence. Just as we're talking about Epstein, just as we're talking about the client list, and maybe she's got one. So all of a sudden, she's looking for appeal and a deal. It's coordinated. If I'm setting up Trump, you know what I'm doing? Who's my key witness? Who might bury Trump? who was with Epstein along with Trump on several occasions, maybe a lot more than we know. But Maxwell, who's looking at 20 fucking years, which is a life sentence, which is what Tita Peter's looking at. I don't
Yeah.
like it either. So
Yeah.
they're both in play. She's in play and it's coordinated. Now, if I'm playing the chess game, I'm getting Trump saying all this stupid shit. And then I bring Maxwell in and go, we were Epstein and Trump.
Yeah.
We were out all the time. You see? That's called a kill shot. That's called a closer. That's called seasoning a deal. Listen, I negotiated deals, Cape Cod potato chips, Borden Chemical. I was a kid. I know the setup of a deal and a sale, and that is what that is. So this is going to get interesting, but it won't get better. But here it is. You're seeing what's wrong.
Okay. So kind of in a way, you're saying that within the DOJ, there's a breakdown of their people possibly turning on each other and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Now, people, I'm just going to ask you real quick, a path to what can the people do? I mean,
Okay. All right. Before I get in, you just asked two questions. I want to answer that question about what people can do. But the first part of your question, say that again.
The DOJ. I just was saying you had touched on that the DOJ might have some integrity. Some people were like,
right.
look.
This is what I'm saying. If you go back to even my oldest videos, you'll hear me say, this will collapse on its own weight.
Okay.
And I said these people will flip in a New York second. Those are quotes from 12, from 13. You know what I always knew? From dealing with the whistleblowers and talking, to dealing with the state troopers. They hate them. The corruption is at the top. They hate them. So given an opportunity, a possibility that you could win, that they could win. You know what's going on right now? They feel the fear. They fear the possibilities. They see people getting laid off. They're afraid, and this is important, for them to get pinned. Remember why they all record? They're all afraid to get flipped on,
Right.
They're all doing that. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to get people to look for deals. You're going to get people to flip. You're going to get people to throw out stories and tell people. That's what's happening now. That's what happened to Bongino and Patel. They're out there and they're talking. We're putting our ass out there and they're talking. So, again, what I'm telling you all, they're coming right to us in exactly the structure and the demise that I anticipated only in 12 and fucking 13 while you guys were asleep. Here we are again. These are the signs. Now, to the last part of your question about what can people do, listen, you understand that we are censored. This week I hit 28.9 3 different times, and it snapped back to 28.
Oh, you're talking about followers on Twitter.
Right. So in other words, so I do need help. We need help to get this out. Even here's an idea. If you could help by putting it on Twitter, a podcast, and boost it for some money. Get it to other people who aren't seeing this. Right now, they know how dangerous this is.
Not money for you.
No.
Other monetized, we're not monetized on.
No. So. But I'm just saying, so in other words, you can help it get out there. Sending it out there. Listen, the more people, I'm working with certain entities, and they're all scared as hell. Everything's real hot right now, particularly me, and how to bring it out. But it doesn't help you if we're not opening about what's going on, which is why I haven't signed anything just yet, because I don't trust them to tell you the truth still. That's why today was important and this culmination and what's happening. So help me get this up. Help me and Qrash get this to as many people as possible. And also, to the people who helped me this last week, much appreciation. I hate asking for help. I do. And you see that I only need less than 2,000 in a month.
I don't know how
I get by.
I
get by. You know what I was looking at today? Here's that tells my story. A Tums, migraine, right? So, but my point being is, I just need to buy a month at a time. I just need to be in the fight. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm thankful for all that help. But understand, this is hard for me to be able to do this. And I don't want to take away from the message that I'm doing. Don't confuse me of who these people were. And don't forget that I was a successful man, and I built state corruption, spending tens of millions of my own money helping people. So we're in
Tough
I
place.
see a culmination of time, of circle. I'm thinking it's a full circle.
Yeah.
And when I was doing this and putting this together, I feel that. In front of with Trump, there is no answer that they're going to give you, and there's no suspicion that you have about them that will go away. Which it also means that it is them. You have met the enemy, and it's them. It is the DOJ. And they're paying in protection for these people. No one will turn themselves in. They are going to pray and hope that you forget. Their best weapon against you is your memory. These same podcasters, Trump's commander in chief, he opened the borders. They won't show you their faces still. They won't give you their names, and you're still believing them, and they're spinning things. You've got to start just looking at the obvious. What's common sense? That's what we've lost.
Yeah. Right.
Common sense is,
Yeah.
listen, Maxwell went to jail for 20 years. She's the only one that went to jail. What about all the predators?
Yeah.
What about all of them? So, in other words, it comes to a point, which you had to, where even the spinnable, even those of you who believed in werewolves, go, what about the Epstein files? You mean we can't see them? They don't exist? Well, wait a minute. They told us they did for years. Remember, we bought their T-shirt and their fucking coffee mug and their gold with the prepayment penalty, right? I mean, think about this with these podcasters. What's left? Is there any content? I mean, Michelle Moore has the fireman on who speaks to the Holy Spirit.
Profit. Yeah. Mark Taylor.
And all it is selling shit. I got a gold show. I've got a godly granny show. I mean, it's an infomercial. It's QVC selling on your faith.
Right.
That's what Juan was doing too. Every avenue that you could be selected from. They use COVID on many of you. They use sovereignty. Remember that.
Yeah.
Now,
They all. Yeah.
and then they're selling you on gold. Gold, silver, may be a good investment. You just don't buy it through those assholes and then turn around and have a prepayment penalty. You know that sports car? You know those mansions? They got it from gold. And they're all doing it. You know what you do? You shut those assholes down and said, we have enough. I mean, mainstream media, and you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to get more mainstream.
Right.
They're trying to get more believable.
Well, they kind of like we for 5 years now we've discredited really hard the Mockingbird media, but it just moved over into the social, the influencer media. So it's kind of just combined now. It's all one big Mockingbird media. I mean,
and what's happening is the mainstream, who became distrusted with Fox and CNN all of a sudden, so this media moved to this internet and is using these entities as news. It's not news. They were lying to you. These assholes are making shit up. I mean, and think about it. It's a multi-million-dollar platform with even the simplest, like Michelle selling all this bullshit, right? That cost them nothing.
Right.
You're supposed to be buying content. What are they telling you? Nino tells you what Juan tells them. I mean, what's Michelle telling you? I know she has no content. So what are you buying? What did all of them have? Are you listening to Baby Trump, Madison Marquette? I mean, what are you listening to?
In the Matrix.
Right. And watch what happens when they spin. Watch what's going to have to spin. They're going to get hit with a bolt of lightning right to the head. Jesus woke us up. Trump's no good. Listen, you can't have alternating opinions and having you pay for one side to another unless you're in an argument. White hats, black hats, Flynn, not Flynn. You see?
It's by design.
By design. Elvira wrote, follow the railroad brick road, meaning MK Ultra. What we prove with Stacy Burr and with his text messages. He was working with Flynn, hired for Flynn, doing special ops. And he was there at J6 smoking a doobie for a nice picture for you morons.
Yep.
And you ate it all up. And what did that prove? So in these little moments here, let's just summarize and I'll close. From what we showed you in the 3 videos before, just the insurrection of the DOJ and the Flynn implementation and the creators and the witnesses thereof.
A witness, yeah.
A brokered convention that was admitted to, confessed to, on tape that exists, that was the DOJ and Flynn, tied back to Sununu. Then we go back to the DOJ and the Pandora'S box and the laundering network of the deep state that's connected to even Epstein and Maxwell, which is why Maxwell was in New Hampshire with Shaheen. So we got them all. It's complete. I shouldn't have to put a stamp on this, which is why you have to help me share it. The more they see, more people seeing this. Right now, I'm speaking to 99% bad guys. Never not know that they're watching. They won't show you they're watching. They give you zero encouragement. They make you think you're in an echo chamber. How about this? That's why I'm moving pieces. That's why it's your responsibility to help me, to at least get this out as more people as possible. These things with boosting on Twitter was something that I saw. It might get us to a different range. It might get us to different people. And you never know. People are watching in a higher, just in a larger media.
Right.
Want them to show them that we may be able to break out without them.
And the other thing on that, real quick, before you close out, we did want to get some ideas, or not ideas, your opinions. We wanted to try maybe a Zoom with multiple people, and I can send a link. So we can do kind of a question and answer thing. I don't know how to work because I've never done that, but I know I can send the link to anybody and we can all join in and talk to Mike. So that's something we want to look at.
So as you all see, we're technically challenged, but we are willing.
So if whoever's seeing this that's interested, please let us know in a comment that you would be interested so we can try to set it up. And
I'm open to talking.
Right. That or a Spaces, which will get a lot more friction, but Mike's okay with that. So we'll do.
I'm open to answering your questions. I'm willing to take on all comers too.
Yeah.
I'm just like that. But my point being is I want to help people. I want to turn around and have you understand. I want to tell you how you were manipulated. I want to tell you how they did it. So in other words, I'm opening to some kind of platform like that. And again, to try to get us out there.
Yeah.
And you never know when that one particular person might hear it, that makes a move.
Right.
And you know what? I want to tell you what that is, but I'm working with something like that, so I don't want to say it. But there's a way to do this.
Okay.
But the thing here is I just don't want to lose control on how it goes.
Right.
So, all right.
All right.
Qrash, thanks.
All right. See ya.
All right.